This video is going to go over some techniques for creating a letterhead. So you'll see on my screen what I've done is I've created a letterhead in the header. So I've put in the name of the company, I've put a picture in, and then I put the address information in. Now I notice right here I need a comma, so I'll just do that. So you should put your address in the format that I've stated in your lecture, so please be aware. So it's the street address, comma, city, comma, province, no comma after the province, 2 spaces, and then the postal code. And then what I did to separate that from other information is just put a indicator in here of some sort. So it's just a symbol. So I went to insert and chose symbol, and then more symbols, and I just selected something from this listing. So in this case I just selected this diamond. And you don't have to, but you could put extra spacing in there. It's just don't let it all run together. The other thing is when you first do this, this is actually going to come up as a hyperlink. So it'll look like that. So what you would need to do is remove the hyperlink, okay? So right click, choose remove hyperlink. You shouldn't have hyperlinks in your letterheads that you would actually be printing. Now the other thing is this picture. The way I get the picture to go over here is when you actually click on a picture, you get this layout options button up here. The layout options button allows you to change your settings on your picture. So square means that you will have a square outline between your picture and your text. Then you have tight. Again, you're going to have an outline around your picture, so between the picture and the text, but the text will come a little bit closer to the picture. Through will look the way you see it here, so the text actually goes through the picture. Top and bottom, the text would be above and below the picture. Behind, the picture can go behind the text, and that's the one I've selected just now because you can make your picture go very close to your text without making it behind. And then you have the in front of text. Now in front of text would put your picture over top of your text. So I left mine at behind, and I'm just going to drag it and put it behind the text. So you have to be aware if you're going to do that, you may need to fade your picture. So on the pictures toolbar, there's a format button, and then there's colors, and you can go in here and choose one of these recolor options, or on the corrections you can change the fading there as well. I tend to use this because it's there for me already. I don't want to change this picture, so I'm going to leave it as it is because I'm not going to leave it behind the text. So I'm going to just drag it where I want. Now sometimes when you have a picture that's behind text, when you go to click it, it's not clicking. It's clicking everywhere else but not the picture. On your select button, you're on the home tab and then select button, you have select objects. You can drag that picture and then put it wherever you want. So I'm going to put the picture here, and then I want to put a border here. I've asked you to make sure you put a border in on your letterhead. So I want to click off the picture and then click on this line. And you'll notice that I have some extra spacing here between the dotted line, which is my header, and my address information. Now, the reason why I have that is because I've pressed the enter key. So you'll see here, I pressed the enter key once after Java Cafe, typed my address information in, and then after that I pressed the enter key so I have a blank line. When I put the border in, I'm going to put the border on the line of text. So I'm going to click on the line of text, then go to the border button, and I'm going to go to borders and shading. You can also get this on your layout tab, you'll see, and your design tab both have borders. So I think the layout tab is for page borders and the design tab is for all borders. I tend to use it from this tab because that's where it's been ever since I've started using Microsoft Office. So I'm going to choose a different line style. So you'll notice all these different line styles that you can choose from. I tend to use this double border a lot, so I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to change the color to a brown color so that it matches my color theme. And I'm going to tell it not to give me any border under the settings, so I'm going to say none. And then in the preview area, you have these little icons that you can click. So top, bottom, left, right. And as long as you are just clicked in the paragraph area, it's going to apply it to the paragraph. So I'm going to click here, and you'll see the border is going to go right below that whole line. And Word considers wherever you pressed enter a paragraph, even if it's not a paragraph grammatically. According to Word, it's a paragraph. So this way, it applied it to that whole line. And then I have some space, and then when I double click below my header, this is where I would be typing. So I'm not right up on top of it. If I didn't leave this space, then that's where my cursor would be when I'm going to type my letter. So it would be a little bit too close. So this is just to kind of give you some space. So this is one layout that you can use. The other way you could do this is you could have this information so that it's all centered. So I'm going to center this. So home and then center. And then with just one picture, sometimes it looks odd. So maybe you want another one. So you just copy it. And then paste. And then drag your picture where you want it. So now notice this picture is up higher than this one. How do I get them to match? I select them both. So click one and then hold your shift key and click the other, or even your control key. And then go to your format tab. So under pictures tools, format. And then you'll see an align button, and then choose bottom. And so I've turned the show hide off, and I'm going to make sure that they're aligned at the bottom. So under the format tab, I'm going to align and then bottom. And you should see that the pictures are aligned there. And the other thing that I wanted to show you is I've got this one starting here right at the margin. So you see that gray area of the ruler is the margin. So starting at the margin. And this one is pretty much close to the margin. I could probably move it to the right just a little bit. So if I've done that, you might want to just select them again. So select both pictures and then go back to your format and then align bottom again, just to make sure that they are still lining up. Okay? So everything looks good. Now notice the handle on this picture is going to the right. I want this one on the right because it's on the right hand side. I'd like this one to go the opposite direction. So I'm actually going to click on this picture, and then I'm going to go to the format on the picture tools, and then I'm going to tell it to rotate. So when I click rotate, flip horizontal will just flip my picture around. So see how my handle's now turned around? So that's an easy way to do that with any picture where you want to kind of just mirror the picture. So there's one type of letterhead. Now the other type of letterhead, I'm going to take that picture out here, and I'm going to left align. So I just have the picture and the text, or the company name on the header. And I'm actually going to cut the address information. So I've selected it, and I'm just going to right click and choose cut, or go up to my ribbon, cut. And then I'm going to go down to the footer, and I'm going to paste that in the footer. So when I've pasted it in the footer, you'll notice the border is on the bottom. Here I'm going to want the border on the top. So I'm going to click here and go to the borders button and choose no border. So it turns the border off. And then I'm going to choose top border. And you notice I put on the same border style, but look how close it is here. My text will come right down to that dotted line. So it could be looking like it's all merged. So what I could do is change my line spacing here, so I can go here and tell it to give me a 6-point line or a 12-point line above, and that will change it. Or I could have put a blank line there as well. Either one will work. So that's the way I'd want that to look. I could also move my footer down a little bit because it didn't need to be up so far from the bottom of the page. Okay. And then up here I want a border as well, so I'm going to come back into my header, And I'm on the line where I have my Java Cafe information. And I'm going to go back to my Home tab. And on my border, I'm going to choose Bottom. And you'll see there's my bottom border. If your border's too close to your picture, just drag your picture up a little bit. That's fine, it'll work. So this is just another layout for your letterhead. So address and information in the bottom, the other information at the top. Sometimes other ways that people will do this, I'm just going to cut this address information again from the bottom, so I'm going to cut it. And then I'm going to go back up to the top. I'm going to paste it. So I'm going to press enter and then paste it. And you see I have these extra borders that I don't need. I'm just going to highlight both lines and go to my border button and say none, so no border. And the other way you'll sometimes see people do this is they'll put the address information over here, and then they want other information at the right. So what they would do is set up a right tab setting. So I'm just going to put this so that you can see it. See it in 100%. So I am going to set a right tab on my margin. So I'm going to go over here, change my indicator to a right tab setting, drag that across so it's right on the margin. So I just clicked on the ruler just close anywhere in the right hand side, and then just dragged it right to the triangle on the right hand margin. Now I'm going to, and because I'm on the line where the address is, that's where the margin is set, or the tab is set. If I move up a line, you'll see there's no tab setting. Down a line, no tab setting. So here, I'm going to hit my tab key, and it looks like it's done nothing. But I'm going to go after Java Cafe, and you'll actually see what it did is it moved Java Cafe all the way to the right. I need to get rid of this. So this stuff is on one line, this stuff is on another. So I'm going to here put my phone number over on the left, and then I'm going to make sure I left align this, and then tab, get rid of that little indicator, so the symbol, and then I want to pull my border up, so I'm going to just hit my delete key. I'm going to make these single spaced, so go into my paragraph spacing, remember 0, 0, single, and then I'm going to click here, turn my bottom border on, and again, because my settings for my border are already set, that's why it's coming in looking the way it is. If I had not yet used the border, or I'd done something different with the border, that's what I would get. So those border buttons will always default to single borders unless you've been already playing with them in this session. As soon as you close Word and come back in, it resets them. Now I want to get rid of this hyperlink, so I'm going to right click and remove the hyperlink. So that's another way you'll see people do it as well. So it's totally up to you the way you want to do this. I hope this helps.